What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take NFL DFS Wise Stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And this awake gentleman next to me is known to many as Paulie D. You can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 Ds. Paulie, what's happening?
What's happening, man?
Another day, another dollar, man. Good to see Paulie's got a newfound energy. He's got that early week 5 energy, not that late week 5 energy. Yesterday you had the late week 5 energy. Today Paulie's got that early week 5 energy, man.
Yeah. I caught some sleep. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's like 8 hours. That's a lot. I was actually tired from that. But now I'm full of energy, so let's do this shit.
Let's fucking do it. That's what I'm talking about. Paulie didn't even catch the game last night. He fell asleep, and then it turns out, man, you were one pivot away from taking down some serious donkey action. I think Keenan Allen over Breeze, and to be honest, that was some bad luck in there because if Keenan Allen doesn't get hurt, he probably does do better than Breeze. I mean, come on, it was like the first drive of the game. He caught a touchdown pass, so it's like, little bit of bad luck.
If he doesn't get hurt, Mike Williams probably doesn't do as dirty, and he was my captain. So probably,
True that.
Little under correlation there. I got to correlate a little bit more, and them two don't correlate together. They kind of take away from each other. A little lesson learned for Showdown the hard way.
True that. Long and hard way, if you will. Shout out to the nation, those of you who are joining us here live. Shout out to Paulie D, who, even though he was half asleep, was big on the Mike Williams captain call, which was clutch, man. Point per dollar wise, that was a pretty big one right there. He was significantly cheaper than pretty much everybody else. So shout out to Paulie, man. That was huge, as they say. That was huge. It's funny too because I know yesterday, like obviously we talked about Allen as more of an obvious play, but both of us weren't too big on him at the same time. We talked about Hunter Henry, we talked about Mike Williams and all this stuff, and then right away I'm like, well, I'm fucked because I don't think I had him on any team. So I was at the gate, I'm like, I'm fucked, and then lo and behold, he ends up getting hurt right after that touchdown catch, which is like a blessing for those who played him because at least he gave you something. It's not like we had a ton of players that put up mega fantasy points. It was really the quarterbacks, Mike Williams, Emmanuel Sanders. So it was like a kind of like a middling situation, right? But in your case, I like the optimism, right? Instead of being down on the bad luck, you're looking at the good luck. Well, you know what? It caused Mike Williams to do that dirty and that captain.
Right. Got me there.
I like the approach. I like it. Yeah. Shout out to the nation.
Got any injury news on tonight's game that might have broke late while I was sleeping?
For this one, so John Brown and Zach Moss are both inactive. That was a new one. Well, I guess it came out probably about 20 minutes ago while I was setting up for this. So I'm gonna make some updates to the projections when I kick it to you in a second here. But we did find AJ Brown is active. John Brown and Zach Moss are both inactive. Let's see. I know we were waiting on Titans activate Fulton. I know we were waiting on news about some of the defensive backs. Well, mainly Tre'Davious White for the Bills. He was questionable coming in today. The second cornerback, I always forget his name, but he's out. So the Bills secondary is certainly in jeopardy. Haven't gotten the word on him yet. And then for the Titans, they will be without one of their defensive tackles who's on the COVID list. No Adam Humphries who's on the COVID list. No Corey Davis who's on the COVID list. So,
Any AJ Brown?
Yes, AJ Brown is active for the first time since week 1. So AJ Brown is active. He's been practicing in full all week. Titans activate cornerback Fulton and Correa from COVID list. Which, by the way, a little off topic, but did you hear that the Chiefs' Anthony Sherman on the COVID list? Fullback?
Really? A fullback?
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye out because he's somebody that's, actually does play here and there and is around other teammates. So we'll have to see what the dirty does. With that said, for today's game, we've got I think the Bills are currently favored by 3.5 on the road. The total was like 52.5, which I think makes sense when I was looking into these defenses and how effective these offenses have been. Interestingly enough, we're going to dive in. I'm going to adjust some of these projections based off the injuries that we have. Oops, looks like some dirties will be done. Paulie, you start us off, man. Talk to me about the. We'll talk about the road team first. Talk to me about the Buffalo Bills here.
All right. Josh Allen, like him all sorts of ways, naked, stacked as the non-captain, stacked with receivers as thy captain, stacked as the captain with running backs. But he's by far the best player on the Bills, best player in this game, and going to be very highly owned, but for good reason. I usually don't like playing quarterbacks in the captain slot, but him, I'd make an exception. Running back, no Moss, puts Singletary firmly in play as the go-to guy, should see 20-plus touches. Talented dude that can break one to the hizzy from out way deep if he so pleases. If things kind of shake out right. With no Moss, you could take a stab for like mega value on TJ Yeldon, but that's getting really deep. At wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Gabriel Davis, who we've seen play pretty decent this year. He's got 2 touchdowns in 4 games, mind you, on 1 reception in both of those games. But now we got no John Brown. We got, Gabriel Davis probably just stepping right into his role. Cole Beasley, decent spot for him. The Titans really do not guard receivers well, the wideouts particularly, but Cole Beasley's fine. But I really like Steph Diggy. I guess. Nah, I won't do it. Tight end, there's nothing in the Bills that I'm really interested in. If I had to take a choice, though, it would be Tyler Kroft. Kickers defense, fine.
Shit, gotta give them that mute button though. Let me just do some quick sword action here. Yeah, I agree with you on Josh Allen, 100%. He's my favorite for the captain right now. I mean, just look at every game he's had. He hasn't. I think his worst game of the season so far, from a fantasy perspective, was last week, and he went for 25. So I mean, that's some guy's ceilings, and it was one of the few games. I don't know. He's ran for three. He has 3 rushing touchdowns out of the 4 games. It just seems likely that if the Bills do dirties, it's going to be with him. I'm not opposed to playing him with Singletary because it does seem like Singletary is going to get some work, and Singletary will get some pass game work if need be. So I'm cool with it. I'm almost looking at him like a number 2 receiver. It's like real tight with him and Beasley. Obviously, Diggs is in a phenomenal spot, and I think he's my next favorite captain coming from the Bills side. I would still play Josh Allen. I don't see myself building a team without Josh Allen, and we have value now, man. We have better opportunities to take chances. We already had some options on the Tennessee side because of injuries, but like you said, we've got Gabriel Davis we could take a chance on. May only need 1 touchdown from him at that price. And then there's got to be like a Buffalo receiver such as what's his name? He's $800 today. Where is he? Isaiah McKenzie, $800 worth a shot, right? I mean, like these kind of guys, most of the work is going to Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and the running back. Right, so these other guys, like, there's room for a touchdown or 2 with these other guys that are going to be on the field every now and again. So between them, what's that? Gabriel Davis. I prefer Davis. I prefer Davis also, but it's also a big difference in salary. So if you happen to get like from Gabriel Davis, you'd like to have a touchdown, even if it's 1 catch. You'd like to have a touchdown. From the $800 dude, maybe it's just a couple catches. You'd be okay with like a 20-yard catch at $800. I don't know, but I agree with you. I do prefer him. But either way, newfound value, and we have value on the Tennessee side as well. I'm okay with the kicker, but I do prefer Gostkowski on the other side. I'm not into the defense mainly because the Titans are not really one of those. They play fairly safe and shit and ish though. With that said, Paul, I'm kicking it back to you to talk to me about the Titans.
Yep. Tannehill's all right. Tough spot for Derrick Henry, but who the fuck else they going to give the rock to? They really only have 2 receivers, A.J. Brown and Khalif Raymond. I like them both significantly. And then Jonnu Smith and Anthony Fersker for 200 is probably the best value play on the whole slate. Kickers and defenses are fine. I think the total's a little high for this game, but scoring's been highest it's ever been across the whole NFL. So what do I know? But total feels a little high for these two teams. I kind of think the score is going to be lower, and we have like a 21-17 kind of game. But I think I'd play a lot of Khalif Raymond, and if Trey Darius gets ruled out, that stud corner from Buff, then Tre'Davious White, then load the fuck up on AJ Brown. You're muted.
Son of a bitch. I actually am. I think the total is right where it needs to be. I expect a lot of scoring today. Buffalo's defense has not been good. They've been in shootouts every week because they're not been good. They gave up 17 points to the Jets in week 1, which ended up being a 10-point game. And as you see now with the Jets, the Bills should have won by a lot more than 10 points for an undefeated team against a team that hasn't won. The Bills won 31-28 against the Dolphins, 35-32 against the Rams, and even against the Raiders, they put up 30 points, but they only won by a touchdown. The Raiders just scored 23 on them, and that was the game they were playing with a ton of injuries. No Henry Ruggs or the other dude. So I think there's going to be some scoring. Tennessee's had 2 weeks off now to kind of prepare. You call it their bye, if you will. AJ Brown back, I think, is huge for the pass game. They're giving a ton of carries to Derrick Henry. 25, 30. Yo, are you falling asleep again? What's going on? You all fidgety over there doing shit with the camera. What's going on? Do I bore you, motherfucker? What's up?
I didn't do nothing.
I see you over there fidgeting around. We got the paper before doing the dirties and all that shit. I see it, bro. I see it. I see it. Distracting the motherfucker and shit. Anyway, as we were. Derrick Henry, 25 to 30 carries a game, plus an additional 2 or 3 targets. Jonnu Smith, right? Without the receivers, I think Jonnu Smith can do some dirties, and we've seen tight ends do it. What's his name? Jacobs had a pretty big game against the Bills last week. I'm pretty sure Gesicki had a pretty big game against the Bills, right?
Yeah.
Dirt all day. So I do like both offenses. Now the kickers, I have a strong liking for Gostkowski. Gostkowski has a straight ceiling. You see what he did last week? Not last week. The last time they played, he went for like 25 DraftKings points. It had like 6. It was 6-6. Had 3 kicks over 50 yards. I can see that kind of scenario happening. I think Tennessee will be able to move the ball. Maybe they can't close because they're not really known. Like the options are pretty bleak here. I do like what you said about Fursker. $200, some tight end value. They're missing receivers. They like to run the ball. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of 2 tight end sets today. I guess the same could be said for Miko Pruitt, but I think Fursker is just a guy that's going to creep in at low ownership. So I'm with it, man. What's that?
Pruitt's active.
I'll double check, but I didn't see anything that he was out when I wrote the dirty earlier. I'll double check that. In the meantime, talk to me about some of your favorite captains and why.
Yeah, I was looking for some edges.
Oh, no, you're right. I'm sorry. He's on the COVID list. That's my bad. I missed that earlier. You're right. He's on the COVID list.
Yeah, that would just kind of solidify the first group deal.
Let's do it.
Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen. You want to get a little different. Devin Singletary. I don't know. Maybe Jonnu Smith from the Titans. Like, I'm having a hard time seeing the Titans really move the rock that much, unless Tre'Davious White gets ruled out. Then I would probably add AJ Brown to that list, and he could really ball out. And maybe. Tre'Davious White's been so shut down for like 2.5 seasons now. It's like, I don't even think he could just volume his way there, because they don't even want to pass much. They might wait till they're down by 3 touchdowns to pass if they get down. I would say AJ Brown only if White is out, So the only guy I really got from Tennessee would be Jonnu, and that's weird.
I'm with you. I was just reading the chat. Patio Joe informs us that Tre'Davious White is out, so definitely a boost for.
Okay. So yeah, mega boost for AJ Brown.
Mega boost. There. That's their top 2 corners out, which makes Tannehill more interesting. Like obviously, I want Josh Allen getting exposure to both of them was kind of tough because they made Allen like $13K on DraftKings. How much of a priority? But with all the value, maybe we can make it work, right? You play enough first score, maybe we can make it work. What do you think?
Yeah, you can definitely make that work.
Make it work, dirty style.
So last night, you saw the San Diego guy kind of spread it out, right? Before I fell asleep, he had thrown a touchdown to Keenan, to Williams, and to the tight end, one apiece, and he was actually the highest scorer at that point. And then as the game went on and he kind of kept hitting Williams, I guess, Williams ended up being the highest scorer. And same thing kind of on the Saints, where you had Breeze kind of throwing it around. He threw one to E-Man Sand. He threw one to the tight end. But by the end, Emmanuel Sanders ended up erupting. Like here, there's nobody but Jonnu Smith and Brown. So, like, I don't really see the quarterback and the captain because he's got no running, Tannehill. Josh Allen, different story. But for the Titans, I don't see how Tannehill would be that guy unless he rushes for, like, 3 touchdowns. Because he really only has, like, 2 guys to throw the ball to. And if they have big games, they're going to score more than Tannehill and do better captain plays today.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think if you're playing a quarterback or the captain, you're finding a way to make it Josh Allen. With that said, who do you think will be the highest owned captain today?
Josh Allen.
Yeah. Second, Stephon Diggs or Henry?
Probably Henry, but it should be Diggs.
I agree with that.
And they're probably going to be pretty close.
Agree. All right, with that said, let's check some chat action. Hit that like button if you haven't already, Nation. Shout out to Stephen B, always ready to do dirties and asking everybody to hit the like button. Patio Joe, making sure everybody's all awake. Tony A recommends you blast some heavy metal to wake up 8Ds. I don't think I have any heavy metal. I don't think I have anything like that. But
I don't know.
Patio Joe says narcolepsy is a problem. It affects 1 in 2,000 Americans. Chadwick says,
like winning.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Only a couple G's usually, though, unless you're playing high stakes. Chadwick, our boy Chadwick, really dirty this evening. I agree. And then Chad and Joe letting us know that White is out. Joey did see the couple yawns. He said, "Oh shit, he's yawning." Getting ready to get ready. Yeah, Joey. I think Joey was getting ready to hop on Skype. He was getting ready to hop on Skype real quick and fill in with his whistle, man. He'll pop on here with his ref whistle. He ain't using it this year because of COVID. He'll pop on here just ref whistle.
Drop one. Like a 7.
Tony A, Buffalo line down to 3 now. Oh man, that's gonna be tempting for me to jump on. Like I said, I'm gonna try to wait. Like I said to you before the show, I'm gonna wait, try to get it +3, and then if I can get +3 live, I'll grab it. But I'm gonna stay away. The Bills, I said this, man. The Bills and the Titans specifically. Look at their 3 games. It's like I think maybe once by 3. Every the other games by 1 or 2. So don't be surprised if Buffalo wins, but don't cover the 3. You don't be surprised some shady shit like that goes down. Our boy Chad, fade Henry on FanDuel.
Man, they don't feel like there's enough people that are worth playing to be fading those guys. Unfortunately, it's one of those slates where it's like just that one funky value play that's the pivot that, and getting the guys in the right order, of course, but I don't see how Diggs, Brown, Josh Allen aren't in the fucking winning lineup today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Henry, so but out of that group, Diggs, AJ Brown, Henry, and Josh Allen, Henry would be the one I'd be most prone to fade.
Right. Kyle Borgar says Diggs at captain or Singletary?
I prefer Diggs, but Singletary is probably more like leveraging.
Agreed. Yeah, I do think Singletary is going to have the lowest ownership of these like number 1 skill player types, simply because so many people want to play Josh Allen, and they're going to say, nah, it doesn't really correlate, which it may not. But this is a sneaky good matchup for him as well. The Titans got destroyed by Dalvin Cook, and I think James Robinson ate him up, right? So couple situations we've seen where the Titans' run defense has not been good. And they're missing a defensive tackle, which never helps. Kyle Bogart says, is Paulie on lean today?
The lean.
Patio Joe's.
I never tried it. Like I'd like to, but I never actually got to try it, unfortunately.
Well, maybe when you do one day, if you do, we'll do it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Patio Joe, did someone say edge? You knew Joey's going to creep up anytime anyone says edge.
Yeah. The second I said it, I was like, yep, Joey.
You knew it. Fursker or Croft single entry DraftKings?
Fursker.
I prefer Fursker also just because of the savings. I mean, I think, believe it or not, I think Croft maybe, I mean, he's 2K, so he's like the next best thing I get. But the Fursker for 200 just seems so juiced. And Tennessee is just, they're banged up. There's like 3 or 4 tight ends that can get involved over on Buffalo. But over here, I think we got 2. So, holla at your boy. What are your thoughts on Jonnu today, man? Where do you think he falls in all this shit?
I like him, I mean, with Tre'Davious White getting ruled out, that makes A.J. Brown way more attractive. But he's been out for a minute. Jonnu's been doing it, Those are the 2 guys, though. Like, they got nothing else, Khalif Raymond's really nothing special. He's wouldn't even be on the team if everyone wasn't out with Covidius. So
right.
Those are the 2. Them's the 2 dudes from the Titans. Unless you see them getting out to a lead and it just being all the Henry, which is very hard for me to envision.
Agreed. That's gonna do it, Nation. We're gonna get up out of here, build some teams. Good luck tonight. First look show is on tonight. Me and Patio Joe. We just got the salaries out, so I'll be updating the projections once kickoff starts for this game. 11:30 p.m. Eastern, myself, Patio Joe, game by game. First look for week 6, and it's an ugly one. But sometimes that could be good for DFS purposes. So, Paulie, anything in closing before we get up out of here?
Nope. Good luck tonight. Shitty game. We'll see you this weekend.
Real quick, give Tony A some value wideouts real quick.
Value wideouts would be Khalif Raymond, Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie. But really, Khalif Raymond and Isaiah, and then Gabriel Davis. Them the 2.
Boom. That's what that is. The big boom. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire Wiseg Nation, as always, good luck.
Yes.